So ear number one is still uploading. You guys will do that later when it's finished. But second period, our video is going to be on the other ear. So I'm recording with you guys for this one. Draw a box. The first thing we're going to do is draw a box. This one is more of a square, but this second box is more of a rectangular type of a box. And that's just because we're facing the ear frontal. So this is like side view, but what if the person you chose is facing you? So I'm covering both types of ears. I'm just gonna draw a box real quick, and it doesn't need to be big. Just keeping these small, like so. All right, it looks like that. So everybody can see. So here's my finger for size reference. This is just a half sheet of paper. It's not big. And I'll minimize this right here because you guys don't see it because you're in class, but usually in the recordings, the students at home, when they watch this, this tends to get in the way. And so as I'm drawing, students keep messaging me like, I can't see because your box keeps covering up the drawing. I'll minimize that so it disappears. Okay, there we go. All right, first things first. Before any drawing, we need to get rid of that white. So we're just gonna gray this out. And this requires no skill. I know you guys can color. So we just want a number 2. Get that number 2 in there. And if it needs to be darker later on, we can always add more. You just want to get that dark. Feel free to use your finger if you want. I already have like a piece of paper towel here, so I'm just going to do that. But if you just have your finger, you can just go like this. See? And it smooths it out. So I'll zoom in on that. This eliminates all that white so that it doesn't distract us. And if you went outside the border, just clean it up. Doesn't really matter. Clean that up. Looks like this. Okay, we're gonna draw our lines. So the first line contour that I'm choosing to do is gonna be the outer lines of the head. I'm not even drawing the ear yet. I just want that dividing line. So this is gonna come through like this. And I wanna leave enough space to fit the ear in. So I'm about to go somewhere in the middle. Yours might be more to the right or a little more to the left. Just kind of center it. That comes through, and then there's a bump here and a bump here. And we're just contouring this. Just using contour lines. Remember, the technique for contour lines is to look at what you're drawing. As your eyes follow the ridges of the outer lines, your pencil moves at the same speed as your eyes. So if my eye's not moving, my pencil's not moving. And I'm constantly looking at the drawing to double check my drawings, to make sure I'm accurate. So right about here, we have this weird little curve here. So his ear flares out that way, and it comes like this. I want to apologize ahead of time if I'm drawing too fast. I just don't want the recording to be like super long. So if I lose you, please have a peace of mind and rest assured that you can go back later and catch up once this uploads. So I'm sorry if I skip ahead. It is being recorded, yes. And then this line here flares out this way and curves right there. So that curves to here. And we have this, like so. And then we have a curve here on the inside. Like that, and this curve comes here. He's wearing glasses, so we've got this bump here that goes diagonal. We're drawing diagonal, okay? It's a diagonal line. Comes to about here. And then it goes horizontal. So we're going from diagonal to horizontal. I know, I'm sorry, those diagonal lines are coming back to haunt you. But the good news is you're not having to line it up to any vanishing points. Yay! Oh, Miss Her, don't say that word. It gives me nightmares. All right, so there's his glasses. Like so. It looks like a cartoon. There's no shading in there yet, so everything is flat. We don't have enough differences in darks and lights, so it looks cartoony. But the more we add, the better it'll look. So this is an old man. He's that actor from Breaking Bad. He's got wrinkles. Like this. So these lines are his wrinkles. So I'm just drawing cracks for the wrinkles, and I'll shade that in later. The forehead has wrinkles as well. Comes here. And then you got one that's higher, like this. And then we have some wrinkles this way, this way, this way, this way. All right. And this is a guideline so that I know that half of the face is darker, this half of the face is lighter. So this is just a guideline. Okay. If you're watching the recording later on, this is a great time to pause the video to get caught up if I went too fast. But the next step that I will do is inside my head, I am asking myself, where are the tones? What is light? What is dark? Where are your grays? If that is a gray, what level of gray is it? So I got to number it. So I'm using this value scale. And one of the tricks that I taught first period was we already looked at the lines. Don't look at the lines anymore. Blur your vision. Blur your eyes so that it's unfocused and all you see is tones. So you want to squint your eyes and just blur your vision, and then the tones will pop out and you'll see like, oh, that's a number 5. Oh, that's a number 4. Okay, so we're just looking for flat tonal colors. So the background here, what would we make that? If you blur your eyes and match this tone with this bar right here, what tones do you get? And then in-person kids can feel free to shout it out to me. Okay. So in the chat, someone's saying 4 or 5. In class, Charles is saying a 6. That is all right. So if you want to go 5 or 6, go 5 or 6. I think I'm gonna go a number 6. Okay. So I'm gonna switch up my pencil now and take away the lead pencil because I'm not drawing anymore. I don't need a fine point. I want something that will cover up the paper quicker. So the amount of pressure is level 6. So we're just gonna come through and level 6 this. We already graded out, so this will be a lot quicker. So just press a little harder in here. And I know that my shading looks sloppy, but rest assured, I will come back and touch it up. Okay? It's kind of like applying makeup. If you ever watch your mom or women apply makeup or those tutorials online, what do the girls do? The first thing they do is they just get it on their face, right? They just they dab it on. They're just trying to get it on their face. And then they'll go back and contour and erase stuff, move it around and get it to look the way it looks. So if you do makeup on yourself, art is a lot like that. It's just the only difference is you're not drawing on your face, you're drawing on paper. But right now we're just trying to get it on the paper. So get the tone on there. We'll adjust it afterwards. You can see that didn't take long to get it on here. So it's a little rough, but I'm gonna come back through with a blender and smooth that out. So here's my shading stump. If you don't have a shading stump, you can use your finger or a paper towel. So here's a paper towel. I just come through and that smooths it out, okay? So. Now his skin looks a lot lighter. Even though his skin is no longer white, it looks a lot lighter. So by creating opposites, you create contrast. You don't know how light something can be until you put something darker next to it. So the darker we make the background, the lighter his skin is going to appear. That's probably why back in the day, my friends always made me go with them to the clubs. Speaking of contrast, right? Because by themselves, they didn't look so good, but I was so ugly that they looked good. So they always brought me to the clubs. So they get the chicks and then I go home lonely. I'm kidding. That was a poor illustration of contrast. But contrast just means differences, okay? My friends were using me to make themselves look better because I didn't look as good as them. All right, so there's the background. Now we can go on the inside. Blur your eyes. And what do you want to do first? You guys want to do the glass? You guys want to do what? Want to get the glass first? This looks like a number 8. And then I'll do a number 8 around here as well. And then this is lighter. So this is a highlight right there. And this fades out. So it's about a number 8 right there. And this fades out to about a 3. So this is like a 3 right there. So I'm going to do the glass next. All right, so I'm just going to press really hard. Number 8. So number 8 is darker than the background. So I'm pressing hard. And then this is dark as well. So I'm going to press really hard right there. And then this fades out. So I'm just going to fade that out and press lighter. Fades out like that. And we've got this dark part here and this dark part here. Got this dark part here. And the rest of it comes down below. So all you got to do is try. And you'll realize, like, dude, I could do this. This is easy. Just got to try. It's not that you can't draw. It's that you won't draw. Okay, I'm going to come through and use my blender to kind of just pull some of this gray over. And I'll pull some of that into this area as well. And I'll gray this area out. Like so. This side of the face here would be a number 4. A number 4 right here. So I'm just going to come through and do a number 4. I know that looks sloppy, but I'm going to come back through and clean it up, blend it in, make it smoother. Great question. So if you would like access to like these, it's just tissue paper that they've compressed and rolled into a stick. They're just called blending stumps. You can get them for cheap, for a couple bucks at the art stores like Michael's or Hobby Lobby. They sell them by packets. Yeah, they help a lot. They're really good for blending, just for blending, nothing else. So if you need areas to be smooth, that's what their purpose is for. It's like when you have areas where you just need to smooth it out, that's what they're designed for. So it's for people who draw a lot and they rub their papers a lot, and after a while your fingers hurt. So instead of doing a big art project where you're rubbing your fingers the whole time, this tool will save you, and your fingers won't be so painful. Okay, I'm going to move up to the forehead, and I'm going to shade some of this area in. Like so. And like so. And the forehead is lighter, so I'm just going number 3. Yeah. Yeah. Nah, you'll just, because you're going to end up throwing it away anyways. On top of this, I'm drawing the wrinkles and parts of the eyebrow. So we're just shading that in. I'll come back through and blend all this out now because it was just rough texture that I was doing. Don't worry if you are a little behind. You can rewatch this later. I just want to make the video shorter, less time to upload. All right, and we're gonna get the inside of his his eyes right here. So this is like the tip and end of the eye. I'm just going to come back through, blend that out in certain areas that need it. Here and here. Using my eraser to remove a little bit of graphite underneath here. And a little bit right there. It's just a little lighter in those areas. So I'll come back through and blend those out. And that just adds depth to it and makes it look more realistic. Okay, now to what we were originally trying to do in the first place, which was the ear. On the inside here, this is dark, right there. That's dark. As you shade out, it gets lighter. So I'm just going to fade that out to about there. There's shading here. And there's shading here. So just get those dark parts on the inside, and we will blend the rest. Like so. Appears lighter as well. And we have this fold of skin. Kind of comes through right there. So let me clean that part off. Looks good. Okay, the only thing left to do is to come back through and blend it out a little to smooth it in. I'm not pressing hard. I'm just using the weight of this blender because I don't want it to get any darker than it is already. So we just want to fuzz out some of these areas where my shading was rough and patchy. All right. So the last thing I want to do is bring an eraser and just clean up anything that needs to be lightened. So if I went too dark somewhere and I need to highlight it, I could come back and fix it. So I definitely want this curve back here to be wider. So I'm just going to remove that and remove that part. That's a highlight. This part of the ear here is lighter. So I'm just going to come back through and remove some of the graphite there. Right on top of here is lighter. So I'm just using my eraser to lighten stuff up. This was supposed to be lighter. Just want to come back through and highlight that. Down here, this was supposed to be a highlight. And right here, there's some shading right there. Just below that, there's this curve of white. So I just want to create that curve. White, and then there's this lighter part right there. If you lost any of your lines, just come back through and draw them in. There's a highlight here. I just want to come back through and highlight that in. And I just want to come back through and draw my lines in. All right, so there it is. Ears. All right, so I'm zooming out so you guys can see. When you're done, it should look photographically realistic if you did it correctly. As if it was printed right off of the computer screen. Grab an example to show at home. Here are some examples from the years before. Normally, if there was no COVID, I would have just printed this out and made a bunch of copies. So you can see that this is a computer printout. This is the computer's printed copy, and then this is the drawing. This is the computer printout, and then this is the drawing. So if you do it correctly, you can't tell which is which. So if I zoom out, like this, see, it's like almost identical, almost. So this is an example from 5th period last year. And then Monday, we'll do the noses. But I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording here.